The name of my speech is Spend Today, Pay Tomorrow. Um, what you spend today will ultimately end up being what you'll not have tomorrow. It seems like an obvious enough concept, but the thing about it is that in today's economy, the majority of us are spending way more money than we're actually trying to save. We pretty much are living kind of paycheck to paycheck. We live our life according to the fact that we think that next week we'll get paid again, and so we'll put off what we need to save, and we'll just say, well, we'll get paid again. And each time, we never put anything to the side. The problem is that time will pass. Before we know it, we will never have enough money to save for actually our retirement or anything in the future for that matter. And the debt will continue to increase if you're already in debt. Now, I have some statistics that I think that will help put things in perspective. As of 2010, there were over 111,000 households. This is according to the Census Bureau. The total household mortgage debt was $10.6 trillion. Okay, and the average credit card debt was more than $4,000 per person and more than $8,000 per household. Those are staggering figures, because that means that most of us actually end up owing more than we'll actually make in over half the year. That's a lot of money to have to owe. And the problem is that doesn't only consist of the amount of money that you borrow, but it compounds when you add on the interest cost. So you actually ended up owing a lot more money than just if you bought a car that was $13,000, you'll actually end up spending $26,000 on it by the time you end up paying all the interest on it as well. So the problem we're having these days is no one actually is focusing on trying to save money anymore. And so there's some things that I want to try to target in this speech that may assist in helping to change our perspective on how we look at our money. Being that we can't always guarantee that we'll make the same money year after year, and we definitely can't be sure that we'll be able to pay off our debts as soon as we are prudent. So, looking at some things that we have that cause us to spend money on a consistent basis. One is impulse buying. We bought it because it was on sale, or because we wanted the thing and we didn't want to wait for it, so we'll go ahead and get it now. So we'll put it on our credit card. Or it was something that, you know what, it's something I've always wanted, and I'm not waiting any longer. I mean, it wasn't just an issue of patience. It was just something that was just your dream car, your dream purchase. You just had to have it. Or you purchased it out of guilt. Someone made you felt like, if I don't get it, then someone will think that I'm not adequate enough. They'll judge me on what I'm wearing or what I've got or whatever the case is, and so they'll get it just to stay up with the Joneses, so to speak. Or you purchased it out of love. You felt like someone else needed this right here, so you spent the money for it, and you thought that it would somehow strengthen the bond you have between you and the next person, or possibly help them to see you better, however you want to look at it. Or you did it to boost your own self-confidence. You felt like you were just inadequate as a person, and you needed to make this kind of purchase. Whatever it was that prompted you to spend the money, you spent the money. And so then I want to look at the reasons that people typically give for not saving money, which would be not enough income, or their bills are too high, so they don't have any money left over to save, or they lack the personal discipline that would make them consistently put a specified amount of money in the bank. Or they'll say that I don't really trust the banking institution. You got situations where people don't trust the bank because they're concerned that somehow or another their money will get messed up, or it'll be a Madoff or Enron type situation. So the thing about it is that you have to put all those things behind you and focus on what has to be done. What has to be done is you have to start working on changing our perspective on how we look at our money, and realizing that the money is not going to come every single time no matter what. Things are going to come, they're going to be emergencies. They're going to be things that we're going to have to plan for. So if we start focusing more of our attention initially on trying to eliminate new opportunities for debt, and we start focusing more of our attention on trying to eliminate the debt that we already have, then the money for savings will be there eventually anyway. But if we ignore the debt and save now, then all we would have been doing is saving the money that we're going to inevitably still have to end up paying, because the debt's going to accrue whether you attend to it or not. So the main thing here is that we just recognize the real dire circumstance we're in our economy. We're on the verge of a government shutdown, and a lot of it has to do with the fact that we don't even manage the money right in the government. Somewhere along the line, someone's going to have to start understanding what it takes in order to be able to manage money in their own home. And maybe it'll be the example necessary for our own government. So, the money you spend today, think about how it will affect you tomorrow. That's the whole idea.